Welcome to the Connected Woman podcast.
You understand your patterns and still you find yourself repeating them. You know your life story, your childhood story, you have done some inner work, you know what is your attachment style, and still nothing changes. You continue in the same cycles. You do change for a period of time, right? But then you go back to the same behaviors, to the same way of thinking about yourself, and you stop at some point. Something stops you and you don't know what is that. In today's episode, I will explain why awareness alone doesn't create transformation and what does. I spent years of my life learning about myself, learning about my inner work, doing the inner work, going to therapy, learning psychology, and still I was stuck in the same old patterns and behaviors and thoughts and way of seeing myself that were holding me back, because it was a point where I start changing and then I will stop and regress. I will feel unsafe. My brain will keep me in the place that was familiar for me, even though that familiarity wasn't good anymore for my life. And if you find yourself in this story, you understand what I am talking about, right? Is when you truly have the willingness to transform your life, but something stops you. And that's your brain, that's your nervous system keeping you safe so that you don't need to go through an unfamiliar path that could be dangerous. And this is the place for you to realize that rewiring old patterns and working in your nervous system regulation is what is going to help you to truly transform your life. So for me, everything started to switch when I realized that I literally could rewire my brain, and that in order for me to feel safe within myself, I needed to learn and understand about my nervous system. I needed to learn how to do the work of regulating my nervous system so that I could move on in my life with things and behaviors and beliefs that weren't familiar back then. But those were the beliefs and the behaviors and the ways of thinking that will support my life from that moment on. I didn't really love myself. I didn't really understand what self-love was. And I did trust myself, but not enough to move on with the things I wanted to do and with the person I knew I wanted to be, with the woman I wanted to be. So I will keep myself in the same jobs that I wasn't really happy, and in the same unhealthy relationships with partners that were emotional and unavailable and not reliable. And I would be just in that loop for years, having all that understanding of attachment style and inner work and all of that. It helped me because I was aware, and awareness is the first thing in transformation. But awareness without knowing what to do with it, and without understanding that you need to rewire your brain and regulate your nervous system so that you can feel safe within to move forward and become literally unstoppable. And I practice in a specific structure inner work, daily meditation, mindfulness, breath work, self-talk, visualization, repetition. And I was truly committed to myself in doing this work, because I knew that rewiring my brain and regulating my nervous system was the freedom for me, was when I became unstoppable. And I was committed to doing this very specific and structured inner work. And this is how my Reclaim You method was born. A 5-phase framework that moves women from safety to regulation, from decoding old patterns to rewiring identity, from embodiment to self-leadership. And this is exactly what I guide women through inside my Connected Within program. If you see yourself in this story, if you have done some of your inner work and you are truly ready and committed to yourself to transform your life and stop the loop, I invite you to learn more about my Connected Within program. You can click the link in the description in this video, and I will see you in my next episode.